Alright, so it seems like the Eagles are getting fired up for their game against Dallas as A.J. Brown sent the Cowboys a message ahead of their matchup, and he also kind of made a guarantee. Meanwhile, Dallas Goedert pretty much guaranteed that he's going to be returning for this game, which could really elevate the offense. And Goedert also seemed really excited about the addition of Shaq Leonard, who sounds ready to prove that he can still be an elite level player in this league. Plus, despite the Eagles beating the Cowboys just 5 weeks ago, many are expecting Dallas to knock off Philly in this NFC East battle. So let's talk about that and a bunch more news, and we won't waste any time, let's get straight into it. So one of the few bright spots for the Eagles last game was the dominant play of Lane Johnson, who we obviously know has been one of the best tackles in the game for a long time. And also, as we know, he's now being honored off the field as he's the Eagles nominee for the Walter Payton Man of the Year award, which is an incredible honor by itself, and it's made even more special considering all the hardship that Lane has had to go through off the field. And Jason Kelce, who obviously has been with Lane ever since he was drafted to the Eagles, has been on record being very emotional when talking about all Lane has been able to overcome and also the hope that he's provided for other people.
You know, Lane Johnson and what he's openly come back from this year, and to think the amount of people that he's given hope to. We're in the business of hope.
So with that in mind, it's only fitting that the Eagles social media team dropped this video where Jeff Stoutland, the Eagles offensive line coach, and of course Jason Kelce broke the news to Lane Johnson that he would be the Eagles nominee for this award.
Uh-oh. Whoa! Whoa!
So Lane, this is a big deal. This is a huge deal.
This award a lot of times just go to somebody who gives a bunch of money to a charity and does a bunch of out in the open, right? That ain't you. And we all know that. But that doesn't take away what you mean to the guys in this room, in this building, these people. That's why they're nominating you, because everybody finally sees who you are. You're doing better than I've ever seen. And it's so awesome to see. There ain't in the NFL that represents that better than you. All right? That's important for you to hear.
So proud of you, man.
So you gotta love the emotion from Kelce there, and again, huge congrats to Lane Johnson for being the Eagles nominee for the Walter Payton Man of the Year award, and drop a like down below for that. Now while these guys are both obviously amazing on and off the field, I think right now both of these guys would tell you that they have to be better on the field. The run game has obviously been a big topic of discussion recently among Eagles fans and the Philly media, whether it be the lack of run calls or just the lack of execution when runs are actually called, and both of those things have been a huge problem for the Eagles this year, especially recently. I mean, Jason Kelce even admitted on his podcast this week there was some botched execution on some run calls this week on his part, and that's also true for other guys as well. Now in yesterday's video, I talked a lot about Nick Sirianni and the coach's perspective on the run game, and how they're finally admitting that they do need to run the ball more and more effectively at that, and I do think another really interesting aspect of this is that the pass protection has suffered a lot as a result of the run game struggles. And Eagles beat reporter Elliot Shore-Parks displayed that in this tweet saying, quote, "Pass protection has been an underrated issue for the Eagles. Offensive line is 28th in hurries and 24th in total pressures allowed. Hurts has allowed the most pressure among QBs per PFF. Together, they are 21st in sacks allowed. They're the only team in the bottom 12 projected to make the playoffs." And while yes, of course you cannot blame all these issues on the run game problems, I mean the offensive line just has to execute better in that area in general, and Jalen Hurts also just has to learn to get rid of the ball sometimes, but there's no doubt it would also help the Eagles a lot if they were running the ball as effectively as they did the 2 seasons prior to this year, because when that's happening, offensively you're not as one-dimensional, so you're a lot harder to defend, and defenses can't just fully pin their ears back and go after the quarterback, and something about just establishing that run game and playing physical and imposing your will in a defense just gets the offensive linemen fired up, which would just help their play overall. So I think I speak for everyone when I say, can we please get back to that identity of being a physically imposing team that runs the ball and runs it effectively? Well, I guess we'll see over the next few weeks. Regardless, some of the guys on the line are still having great seasons, including, of course, Jason Kelce, who unsurprisingly is leading the NFC in Pro Bowl votes at his position, but a lot more surprisingly, the only other Eagle to be leading in votes at their position is strong safety Reed Blankenship, which I mean, sure, I think out of everybody in the secondary, Reed's probably been the most consistent guy, and I do think he has played well this year and he's made some great plays, but you do also have to mention that Blankenship has struggled at times in pass coverage, and the defense and secondary obviously as a whole this year has just been horrible at stopping the pass, so I must admit it was a little shocking to see Reed leading in votes at his position, but what do you guys think? Is Blankenship deserving of this, or is it undeserved? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Now, looking forward to the Eagles' upcoming matchup with Dallas, Reed Blankenship and the Birds' defense are in for another really tough test, as Dak Prescott and the Cowboys' offense have been nothing short of incredible for a while now. I mean, Dak is playing at what I hate to admit is an MVP level right now, and this has some people really believing in Dak and the Cowboys to the point where some are thinking they've even surpassed the Eagles, and that includes former NFL wide receiver James Jones, who in a recent appearance on FS1 Speak said this.
There's no reason why the San Francisco 49ers should have went into the link last week against a 10-1 Philadelphia Eagles football team favored. The only reason they went into that football game favored is because everybody with their own two eyes has seen the way the Philadelphia Eagles has played football this season.
Oh, no.
So right now, at this point in the season, going into Sunday Night Football, I have more confidence in the Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott and Coach Mike McCarthy than I do with the Philadelphia Eagles, strictly on how they are playing football in between them lines. The Dallas Cowboys last 8-9 weeks have been pure dominant, playing consistent football.
Now look, I'm not going to argue with a lot of the points that he made there because he is right about a lot of things. I do also just want to point out that he may be forgetting a few things as well. One being that the Cowboys also got manhandled by the 49ers just like the Eagles did. And let's not forget, the Eagles beat the Cowboys just 5 weeks ago. And yes, things do change over time and I understand that. But all I'm saying is, let's just pump the brakes a bit on the Cowboys hype train. Now for the Eagles, the hype train has screeched to a halt after last week's brutal loss to the 49ers. But they did get some good news this week ahead of what is now clearly their most important game of the season versus Dallas, as their top linebacker Zach Cunningham is back at practice after missing last week's game. So it looks like he could potentially make his return this week, which is great, and he could also be paired alongside newly acquired linebacker Shaq Leonard, so assuming that's the duo, you have to imagine this is going to be a drastic upgrade over what the Birds had last week in Nick Morrow and Christian Ellis, and yes, that still holds true despite the fact that Shaq Leonard hasn't quite looked like himself the past couple seasons. However, Leonard seems to think that the all-pro version of himself is still there somewhere, and after his sudden release from the Colts and now coming to the Birds, he's looking to prove just that.
Of course, it's not just proving to Indy, that I can still play. I want to prove to myself that I still can play, and that's why I continue to just grind as hard as I possibly can and come out and put my best foot forward.
So let's hope Shaq does end up proving that to himself, and it in turn helps the Eagles defense. I mean, Shaq had obviously had a tremendous amount of success in the league up to this point, and he's got great physical tools that still remain that could help him get back to that level, and it's for these reasons that the Eagles seem really excited to have Leonard on the team, and that includes tight end Dallas Goedert, who praised Leonard just days after the Birds signed him.
He's a tremendous player. He's long, he's fast, he's physical, he's got great, skills that you can't teach. He's always around the ball, and he's long, he's physical. Really excited to have him on this team, and excited to see what he can do this week.
So again, hopefully Shaq Leonard can come in and get back to playing at that elite level that he once was playing at in Indy, because that would be a huge boost for the Eagles defense. Just like the return of Dallas Goedert is going to be a huge boost for the Eagles offense, and he pretty much confirmed that he'll be back this week, so don't worry, we're going to get to that and a whole lot more in just a minute here, but real fast I want to say, if you're enjoying this video or finding it informative in any way, and you're part of the 75% of people that haven't done so already, make sure you go down right now, subscribe, and turn on notifications really importantly, so you don't miss when any other videos just like this are uploaded. I think that's a win-win for the both of us. I mean, I get more people watching the videos, and you don't miss any other Eagles coverage just like this. And also, if you are enjoying this video and want to show some support, make sure you drop a like on it. I'd greatly appreciate it. And now with that being said, let's get back into the video. So when Dallas Goedert was asked what the chances of him playing on Sunday against the Cowboys were, this is what he said.
I think the likelihood's very high. Really excited. I was trying to get back last week, and it wasn't quite time, but I think my return is going to be this week, so really excited to go and prepare this week and test it out on the field.
Now this is obviously great news. I mean, we know how crucial Goedert is to the Birds offense, and they've sorely missed him over these past 3 weeks. Jalen Hurts himself said it's going to be great to get him back.
I mean, it gives us another option, another threat, another weapon. Definitely a welcome him at, open arms, and just go out there and execute.
And on top of that, A.J. Brown's also excited to get Goedert back because he knows it'll only open up more opportunities for him and the rest of the Eagles pass catchers.
It's going to help us out tremendously, I'm glad he's back. He worked his tail off to get back to help us out. It's going to take a lot of pressure off me, of course. So, I'm glad to see him.
Plus, to add on to all this, Dallas Goedert himself expressed excitement to get back and kind of get a measure of revenge against Dallas after getting injured the last time they met.
This is a big game. It's really fun going down to Dallas every year and playing in a fun environment like that. So I'm really excited to get back, and Dallas has a ring to it. So really glad that I'm able to go and kind of put everything else to bed and get out there and play football again.
So to kind of just wrap this all up, just like Goedert and his teammates, I'm fired up to get Dallas back in the lineup because I know he had so much to this group, both in the receiving game, especially over the middle of the field, and also in the red zone where he was sorely missed last week, and also in the run and screen game as a blocker. So overall, it's going to be great to get him back, and drop a like down below for that. Now, in addition to Goedert being fired up for this matchup with the Cowboys, AJ Brown is too, because with this being the biggest game of the year and the NFC East title being in the balance, AJ Brown and the Birds have a little extra driving them for this game, at least objectively speaking, because of course we know that Nick Sirianni and the guys in the Eagles locker room are going to stick with the same messaging of this game being no different than any other game. But again, that being said, you simply just can't lie and say there isn't a lot on the line in this one, and AJ seemed to allude to that when he was asked what's driving him personally for this matchup.
Somebody want what's on your plate. You're going to let them take it. And don't put it just like that.
Now, if that didn't get you fired up, AJ also kind of sent a warning to the Cowboys while indirectly guaranteeing a bounce-back effort from the Eagles, because after the Niners game, he had said that he didn't think they had matched the intensity and effort that San Fran played with. So now leading into this game, he was asked if that was addressed this week, and his answer was very interesting.
I'm going to keep what was said in the locker room, but you're going to see. You're going to see Sunday.
So it certainly sounds like AJ and the Eagles are ready to bounce back from a rough performance, and they're going to need to, being how important this game is in the NFC playoff picture. And I gotta say, I was confident that the Birds would play better this week than last week already, but now with AJ saying that, I'm even more fired up and confident that this Birds team is going to show up on Sunday night and prove that they're still here to stay as the NFC's top team. Now, we're going to have plenty more coverage leading into that matchup, so again, if you don't want to miss any of that, subscribe and also turn on notifications. Also, drop a like down on this video if you did enjoy it and want to show some support, and leave a comment down below just regarding anything that I talked about in this video. And if you want to watch another video talking about how Nick Sirianni could have potentially leaked some changes coming to the run game and also more touches for DeAndre Swift, as well as other news, you can go check this out right here. Now, with all that being said, that's pretty much all I got for this one, guys. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.